what is going on YouTube? This is Acid Roots. So I'm going to review the canceled collaboration mixtape by Hopsin and SwizZz. Basically, this project is called Haywire 2, and it was supposed to come out in the summer of 2010, and then the fall of 2011 got repeated delays as far as those pitches going to happen, but it actually came out in like a more kind of fan-made and unofficial format in the fall of 2017. So I look after this particular pitch here, just being able to say this is a very heralded type product to want as far as those pitches going to happen. Hopsin definitely has a ton of these secret type products, some of these type ones, like the Ill Mind of Hopsin mixtape that was unofficial, and like LAUSD result, and apparently there's another LAUSD result floating around. Hopefully that one leaks to the internet more in the future as far as those pitches can happen. And then there's like the Hip Hop Sinister mixtape. So there's plenty of these Hopsin projects. Hopsin was working on this in like the summer of 2010 and throughout 2010 and 2011 as far as those pitches going to happen. Now the thing about it is the work on this particular project, there were a number of Hopsin and SwizZz team ups that wound up showing up on Hopsin's second album Raw from the fall of 2010, and maybe Hopsin just possibly thought that it just felt like maybe that was just the product that he was going to back as far as those pitches going to happen. It's not to say that, like, I think this product probably would have been pretty potent. It probably would have been on like the same par as like the original Haywire. Now I haven't reviewed the original Haywire since the fall of 2016, so I don't remember it as full blown, but I do like some of the singles off that project, like Leave Me Alone and Lucifer Effect, and some of those type of ones are pretty good gems. Definitely, I mean, it's a better project for folks that don't full blown know about it. It's definitely a pretty excellent type project, especially the songs where they actually team up, where Hopsin and SwizZz are on the same song, some of those type fairs. Because Hopsin would put out music videos for some of these, SwizZz would be in these. It's just a good pitch to kind of get some of that type fare, just a good glist amount. Basically like some snappy kind of horrorcore gems to kind of get. And seeing from what I would have seen from this particular product, I think this would have been a pretty feral type one. Now the unfortunate thing about this mixtape, you can purchase this mixtape. There's kind of an unofficial spot where you can purchase this mixtape, but the unfortunate thing about it is most of these songs minus Coming Back Home are just songs that were, most of these songs minus the song Coming Back Home are just songs that were on Hopsin's second album Raw from 2010, and then also like the SwizZz mixtape from mid 2011, I'd say. So that's the concept of what was going on. I'm glad that we at least got the SwizZz mixtape, Good Morning SwizZz. That's a pretty excellent project as well to check out. I would definitely recommend that. That's another one I reviewed back in the fall of 2016, but I would have to say, really, I'm just going to briefly talk about the two songs that I'm going to talk about. Coming Back Home, the leaked song that was originally going to be on Haywire 2. That was originally going to be on Haywire 2, and then I'm going to talk about the other, there was a song that was officially released that was supposed to be for Haywire 2 that wound up being on SwizZ's 2011 mixtape, which is Bang Bang Boogie. Now back in 2016, I did not give descriptions of songs like I do nowadays, so I'm just going to briefly talk about one song that I remember from. I'm going to talk about one song that was supposed to be for the original Haywire 2 that just wound up being a SwizZz song as far as those pitches going to happen. So this is going to be a relatively snappy review, but basically Coming Back Home, this is a song that Jackal Goldkick showed me a few months ago as far as those pitches going to happen. It's an excellent type song to kind of get here just within the fair. It's pretty unfortunate that this particular mixtape hasn't surfaced. I looked up some details about Haywire 2. Apparently, like, the only folks that may have like this full-blown project, or at least the relative completed format of it, would just be Funk Volume members that were on that were a part of the team that was on that label as far as the fare behind it kind of goes. So maybe it is floating around. Maybe one day in the distant future, or within the relative future, this project will be leaked, which would be a pretty excellent type fare. But I would like to get some more leaks off this project. But Coming Back Home is like the only real true leak off of Haywire 2 that has any newness factor towards it. But Coming Back Home is basically a SwizZz song more, but I do like the excellent fare behind it. This is like a snaring kind of chandelier like hauntiness to kind of get here. Great secret gem to definitely say, and this is like some night activity kind of ruminations to kind of have just within that fare about it. So it's basically like a Hopsin song that he would do with like some night trekking, something similar to like the Gazing at the Moonlight and Raw days that had to say within that pitch, just with SwizZz on there. Hopsin's on the hook on this particular song. This feels like a real nice SwizZz single, pretty excellent type fare. It is such a vast and just gigantic kind of shame that this particular product did not showcase more, as far as this particular product did not have more. It's a gigantic shame that this particular product does not have more leaks from it as far as those pitches kind of happen. Just overall, that there's not more push to kind of get this product out. I mean, I'm not as full-blown sure whether or not Hopsin wants it out or SwizZz wants it out, some of those type fairs, as far as saying why the secrecy behind it, why it's not being more pushed. I mean, I get the feeling it's probably pretty damn well excellent. You just would have to say within the pitch it'd be an excellent type fair to kind of have some of this kind of happen, just judging by this song alone. Just really the excellent type fair just really feels like a more polished version of what Haywire was kind of like in 2009, just within those fairs. I feel like it's kind of an in-between conduit between like Hopsin's Raw and like between Hopsin's Raw and like Knock Madness, between Hopsin's Raw and SwizZ's Good Morning Swizzle, and then Knock Madness from 2013. It has a little bit more sharpness about it. This really has some commercial bite. It feels like an album quality song within those particular pitches. It's some excellent type fare. Just really works for something that Swizz was kind of aiming for, like some ghastliness that pulls out the vibe extremely well. I really think that Haywire 2 would have been pretty sheer and just biting, I'd have to say, just within the pitch. This real haunting type one. Definitely now this mixtape, buying it officially, I mean, you can basically, if you purchase this mixtape for $7, the concept of it is you're at least getting the song Come Back Home, which is the only real new true song. But it is worth it just for this song, just because of the quality appeal behind it. Now, I don't know if the money would go to Hopsin just within the appeal, but it is worth it to track down the song, because it is some blistering type of appeal. But it's too bad that there weren't other treats or goodies that could have been thrown in there. Like, apparently I looked up some other fun facts about this project, and apparently like Ill Mind to Hopsin 4 was supposed to be on this project as well. It's supposed to be like another treat or appetizer, so maybe there could be like a revamp where they could get some more songs. But it's definitely, folks need to reach out to Hopsin and get the dealio on this particular stuff as far as getting this published out, because a lot of this is just too appetizing to not have more like aspects of this project. But yeah, to talk about Bang Bang Boogie, this is apparently the only real official song that was released from, this is the only real official song that was released in promotion of Haywire 2, and it just eventually became like a Swizz single for his Good Morning Swizzle in the summer of 2011. But I look after this like a formal kind of horrorcore and basic kind of night party mingle to kind of get here. Is some initial dap and kind of vintage collab from Hopsin and SwizZz as far as those pitches kind of happen. It's just like some late night frolic to kind of get here. So this basically tries to commercialize like horrorcore a little bit. Just a good type tone, just really kind of basic kind of simmeriness within the pitch behind it. More of like 7 o'clock, 8:15, 6:45 p.m. type horrorcore just within those pitches. Not quite as sheer, full-blown torn up and just off of like a, not just full-blown tore up and off of like a shit ton of hard liquor pitches like that. Actually having some cogent memory and just being able to have like some basic dap and convo as far as those pitches can happen. Just the standard kind of mingle and the standard kind of mingle and initial kind of chit chat and fun times to be able to be had just within those fairs as far as that particular one goes. Just, yeah, like I was saying, formal kind of horrorcore that has that relative appeal behind it. Just some good aspects. So it's nice delivery one. It's a real kind of comfortable type song and just punctual horrorcore to kind of get, which is pretty dope. So that's just the pitch behind it. So I look after it. So yeah, in terms of what I'm going to score this mixtape in terms of the appeal, really because there's only one true song that's not on any other product that you can't find anywhere else. I'm not going to say, oh, this is like a 6 out of 10 or a 7 out of 10. I'm not going to say it's like a 9 out of 10 or 10 out of 10 either. I'm just going to give it a thumbs up and say it's worth it. Now, really the concept behind it, the real song, the merit of this particular product is just tracking down Coming Back Home. Merit of this product is just tracking down Coming Back Home and just being able to say as to what goes along with it. Is it worth $7? It depends. If you think paying $7 for one song is worth it. I mean, it's not like $7 is too much of a big deal, but this is kind of the concept that this may be the only way you can really get that song within a relative sense of officialness. Now, you could download the song. I'm not sure if it has any detachments as to whether or not there's any copyright just within the pitch of that particular song, but either way, at least some degree of product that you can purchase this particular product strictly for the Haywire leaked song Coming Back Home, which is pretty damn excellent. I'd have to say just an excellent type fare there. So once again, gets a thumbs up just to be able to say it's worth the transaction. I like what they were attempting to do with this product. There's some other songs on here, just like I was saying, some Hopsin Raw leftovers, or some songs that were on the album Raw and SwizZ's Mixtape from 2011. Did at least talk about Bang Bang Boogie, but you can find that particular song, the only officially released song from the promotion cycle of Haywire 2 on the SwizZ Mixtape. So thumbs up, so I give the mixtape. The social score, I'll go ahead and say that it has the appeal behind it. It's just another thumbs up there just to be able to say, look within the factor. It is some excellent type creepiness just to be able to get. SwizZ basically pulls off Hopsin's vibes extremely well, just nails it within the same pitch and cadence that Hopsin particularly kind of does, just within the aspect of doing it. There's some standard night commerce and creepy as far as those pitches kind of happen. Taco Bell runs, standard swisher in the air type fare as far as those pitches will kind of happen. It's basic kind of conduct of some ghastliness is just within the appeal behind it. Once again, it just boils down to whether or not you think it's worth the $7 just for only one song. That's just the pitch behind it. So I'd say in terms of the future, like the future has been kind of bright recently. Like Hopsin, I don't know if he's actually going to ever put out another album. He's been kind of working somewhat on things, but I just look after a lot of these leaked products are starting to come out. There's some folks that remember him from his MySpace days, and they're finding more stuff that's just getting out and about. So there may be a possibility that Haywire 2 leaks more in full, and if it does, I'll definitely review that variation when more songs start to surface. It's just kind of within the pitch behind it. I think there's plenty more Hopsin projects to get to. I'm definitely going to review like Raw 2 and some of those type ones, so there is some more Hopsin to get to. Even still, we'll get to some of that. But yeah, this is a quality project here just within the pitch, even if it's only just for coming back home, that is worth the investment just for that song.